Oh, here you are. Happy Halloween. Remember I told you that there's going to be a Halloween special? This is it, right? This is Andreas Batakis. You're watching The Real Show. And the scary subject of this Halloween special is the interest hikes. The interest rates have risen, not from the dead, but they have. And I'm here with Morgan from Capital Home Lending, and we're going to have an interesting discussion. Welcome again, Morgan.
Thanks, it's great to be back.
So, what's going on? I mean, since we last talked, which I think it was around May.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, what happened? What's going on?
Well, essentially what has happened is what everyone has said was going to happen with interest rates in particular. So they have gone up,
Okay.
both fixed and variable. The government has been telling us for a number of years to expect this to happen, and it's happening. We've had four increases in the last year and a bit, and most economists say we're going to see another probably 2 to 4 increases by the end of next year, 2019.
So what should we expect in, what would be the minimum or the average that we expect for them to rise? Will it be will they go up? Is it possible that they'll go up 1% at a time?
No. So what we're talking about going up is the overnight rate, is what the government sets, and then in turn that is what banks use to set their prime rate, which is what variable mortgages, lines of credit, car loans, that sort of thing. Anything with a variable rate is based off of the bank's prime, and the banks base their prime off the overnight rate.
Right.
And that's what has been changing. So it's separate from fixed rates because they get money from bonds rather than this. So we're going to see at least, it goes up in a quarter point or a quarter of 1%.
0.25.
0.25 per time.
Okay.
Only once or twice have I ever seen it change by more than that. Once was right after September 11th, rates dropped 0.75% within a month.
Yeah, understandable.
And in 2008 we saw a drop of about 0.5%. But throughout all the rest historically, it's always 0.25 up or down. It's not a rule; it's just sort of the norm.
Okay, all right. So even if we have 3 interest hikes within 2019, you'd say
by the end of 2019, I think we'll see another 2 to 4. Most economists are saying 2 or 3.
Okay. So, but let's get real. What does this mean for people that are A, already have a mortgage, and B, people that are looking to buy and they need a mortgage?
Right. Well, that is the most important question, because people read all this stuff and it's doom and gloom, but they don't understand how that affects their payment.
And then it's like it's Halloween every day, right? Things get pretty scary.
That's right. So, I mean, I got a good example, and an average mortgage size right now is $500,000, say.
Okay.
Right now, if you were paying prime less 1%, so the prime today is 3.95.
Right.
It just went up a week ago, so prior to that, people were paying 2.7% on 500,000.
Right.
The monthly payment, it was $2,025.
Okay.
With the 0.25 increase that just happened, that same $500,000 mortgage, now the payment would be $2,089. Which is an increase of $65 a month.
So $65
for every 0.25 increase.
Right. So you pay basically, if you have a $500,000 mortgage, you're just gonna be paying about $67 more.
Correct.
Now per month.
Right. And there is 2 types of variable mortgages, and this is what people don't always understand. So there's an adjustable rate mortgage where you have a set payment, and as rates increase, your payment stays the same. But what happens is you just pay more interest and less principal, so your amortization lengthens. And then there's a variable mortgage where as the rate changes, your payment also changes, but that keeps your amortization in line with what you started with. So you have to be aware of what kind of mortgage you have, because some people don't realize that their payment has not changed, but they now have 2 more years to pay off their mortgage because the rates have changed. So
that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off between the 2 options.
The 2 types of variable mortgages,
Okay.
And so for that, $65 a month may not be to some people a big amount, but
it's not going to break the bank, right?
Right.
But still.
So if rates went up 1 full % between last week and next year, then that same person's payment would have gone up $262 a month for the whole entire 1% increase.
Right.
Just as a point of reference.
Right.
Because people think it's going to be 1% increase from where it was a week ago.
Okay. So at this time, for someone that has 500,000 or is interested to get something with 500,000, the mortgage is just going to be $65 or at least his payment per month.
Correct.
Compared to what it was.
Yes. And that's the
a week ago.
Yeah, and that's the important number, even when you're getting a mortgage, is to understand variable is still a great option because what comes up can come down. Rates go up because our economy is strong, and if anything changes and the economy slows down, inevitably rates will come back down.
Yeah, it was interesting because we had this conversation before between ourselves, obviously, but we can share it, that the economy is strong, and since the economy is strong and unemployment is really low,
yes,
that means people are employed. Usually negative situations like foreclosures, red loans as they call them in Europe or whatever,
right,
are related to the fact that people don't have any jobs.
That's right.
And they can't pay anymore for the mortgages, and obviously that creates the issue.
Right.
But here, the way that things are going, the economy is pretty strong, and that's the general feeling.
Right.
And we always advise, like me and Morgan are probably aligned in that line of thought, that no matter when you're looking to buy and you want to buy something, make sure that you buy where your hand can reach. Don't stretch your hand longer than it can reach. In other words, don't overstretch it. Don't buy something more expensive than what you can afford.
That's right.
Because you're counting that you're going to be getting a raise at work, or because you expect that your wife is going to find a better job next year. Just play it safe. When you play it safe, it's good for everybody.
That's right.
It's good for you, it's good for the economy, and it's good for the system and for the market in general.
That's right. And qualifying is based on just the mathematics behind what's allowed. It doesn't take into account what you like to do. Do you like to go on vacation twice a year? Do your kids play 4 or 5 different sports? Do you like to do different things? So that's why I think we're in decent shape, because most people factor that in when they're getting a mortgage. I see that every day. People will always say, what is my maximum amount? And when I tell them, a lot of times they're like, I'm not going to spend that much. And that's good to hear, because it means people are thinking about that, right? Most people don't want to buy a house they can never leave to do anything.
Exactly. I mean, what's the point, right?
Yeah. That's right.
No, that's great thinking. So what else? What else do you think that it's important for people to know with the recent changes? I mean, since May, what's your feeling? It's interesting, since we haven't in public discussed something since May.
Yep.
What's your feeling of the market overall? I've been reporting that the market had a little bit of a slowdown at the beginning of the year for the first quarter,
yep,
but then sales were up month to month, and even average selling prices went up year to year.
Yeah.
So what's your feeling though from the mortgage perspective?
Well, it's, I'm so in line with the real estate market that I see a very strong market. We're doing lots of business. We've seen a lot of more refinances this year, a lot of renewals, because a lot of people came up for renewal this year. But it's still a pretty strong market, and contrary to what a lot of people read, there's still lots of options for people.
Excellent.
And you hear about alternate lending and all this kind of stuff. I think it doesn't get the justification for what it actually is. There's a lot of very good products out there for people that can't get what they need from the bank that are still very affordable and they're just more flexible.
So credit unions are still a valid option.
Yeah.
Back in May, if people remember or may have not seen, we were discussing how credit unions offer a valid option, and they are governed by the government rules as well. And they offer things that may be more attractive compared to banks.
Right. Yeah, because they're not subject. Some of them are not subject to the stress test,
right,
and they can choose to do that or not to do that for clients. So not every client would be able to do that, but we deal with a lot of the biggest credit unions in the province of Ontario, and they've seen a big increase in business this year.
Okay, well, I think that we're good here, and Morgan, I really appreciate your input. So guys, I'm afraid this is a Halloween special, but nothing scary to see here. And if you want to get in touch with Morgan to get his advice, or if you have any questions for me as well, make sure that you use Facebook, and don't be shy. I know you want to do it. Like it and share it. Thanks guys, it was The Real Show.